Remember, they paid him $1 million to bring in Aaron Winter.
I remember that press conference, Craig. I think you were there, actually. It's like, that's kind of cool. It's Jürgen Klinsmann. And he's talking about we need to redefine what this club is. We need to play total football. We're going to be a 4-3-3 club. That's how we play.
Yeah.
Total football, total football, total football. And then that's the thing before he saw the players.
Total shite.
And realized that they couldn't play total football.
Total shite.
Weren't you there, Jimmy? Were you still there at that point?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts then? Tell me your Klinsmann experience.
I was in a lot of those meetings when it was all going down and he was consulting. It was actually funny. I was sitting beside Paul Byrne, and there was a lot going on behind the scenes and all these meetings. And Jürgen Klinsmann was sitting across from us, and he had this big binder, big book, really thick, and he's reading it. And I'm looking, I'm going, what's going on here? And I look at Paul Byrne, and I look back at Klinsmann. I was like, I can't shut my mouth. I need to ask. I was like, hey, Jürgen. I said, what are you reading here? Now, he had a fascination for helicopters. And he was like, I'm reading my book on helicopters, trying to understand how the propellers create lift. And I'm like, what? How the propellers create lift and you fly the helicopter.
Yeah, nothing to do with football.
I was like, what is happening here? So everybody's running around trying to get everything organized. He's consulting, and he's got a book on helicopters.
Did he figure it out? How helicopters?
Yeah, he has his license, and he still flies. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. So it wasn't a complete waste of time.
What's that?
So these are in the meetings. These are the meetings then, and he's obviously not that engaged or that focused on.
Well, I guess he probably consulted already, and that was his downtime. So
his consulting time.
He was off the clock.
Maybe it was a metaphor. He was likening himself to the helicopter having a bird's eye view of the operations of the club. You just missed it, Jimmy. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing, Jimmy's Klinsmann and his gold member sound a lot alike.
Very similar, yeah. Hey, Jimmy, but take me back though. I mean, I think a lot of TFC fans will be fascinated by this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at the club. At that time, were you assistant GM or you coaching still?
No, I was assistant GM then when that was all happening, but that's when I was doing my coaching licenses, and then I wanted to get back into coaching. So I was going into the academy. But, Jürgen obviously was there. He was talking to everybody within the organization, putting everybody in place. And then that's when they made the hire of Aaron Winter. And then Aaron came in and he took over the team. And I think I've told you this story when I got the phone call to go up with him. And he was, I was in the academy, and for me, it was important to get into the academy, learn your trade, because you can make your mistakes there. You can't make your mistakes in the first team because players are always trying to figure you out, and you got to make sure that you're bang on. And I was there for maybe about 1.5 years, and Aaron Winter at the time, I think it was like 10 games. He didn't get a result. The team was just getting smashed week in and week out. And we were all saying, he's going to get fired soon. It's inevitable. Anyways, we just finished playing New York Red Bulls at the Kia training ground. My phone rings. I'm sitting with Thomas Wrong, and it's Aaron Winter. So I answer the phone. I said, hey, boss. I said, how are you? And he goes, good. He goes, how's everything? I said, look, the team played well. We just beat New York 3-1, but these are the players that played really well and performed. And at the time, it was like Jordan Hamilton, Manny Aparicio, Camargo. I said they had wonderful performances, really good. Maybe they should be stepping up into Danny Diccio's team at some point, at least training with them. They're performing. He goes, oh, that's fantastic. I went, yeah, okay, great. He goes, Jimmy, the reason why I'm calling you is, he goes, I'm making some changes. And I went, right. And he goes, Bob de Klerk is going to move upstairs. And he goes, I want you to be my assistant. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I'm thinking, we were just 2 minutes ago talking about how you're about to get fired. But what do you say? You have to go, right? You got to show a little bit of loyalty. So I hang up the phone, and Thomas Wrong and looks at me and he goes, what's up? I said, Aaron wants me to go to the first team. And he starts laughing. He goes, no. And I went, yeah. So what do I do? He goes, well, you have to go. You can't say no. So Capatasso, who's my assistant coach, he ends up taking the U17s. I go up to the first team. We win the next game. Then we win the Canada Cup. And then it's the international break. They fire Aaron Winter. And I'm
on the back of those 2 wins.
On international, international break, they fire him. So I come in the next morning, I'm thinking, where do I go now? I've got no team. There's no manager. Obviously, new manager comes in. He's going to bring in his own staff. And I'm around going, how is this possible? How did this just happen? And fortunately, I think it was Paul Mariner. He ends up coming in, and he knew me because I played with him in the All-Star game. And he says, do you want to stay with the first team or do you want to go back to the academy? And I said, well, there's no places in the academy, so I'll stay with the first team. And then that's how I ended up going to the first team. Getting that call from Aaron Vinter, and I'm sure we guessed it right. He was going to get fired, and he did.
So you were like his ace up the sleeve to save his job?
No, I helped in firing, I guess.
They won the 2 games, though.
Yeah, we won a Canada Championship. I thought, okay, this is going to get better.
That was a weird time. And Aaron Vinter, such a lovely guy.
He was so nice.
So nice. Maybe too nice. Maybe that was a problem, right? But it didn't work out. But I'm still curious, when the Klinsmann hiring was announced, what was your thoughts, Jimmy, being at the club? Because this is a guy who's in many ways bigger than the sport in certain parts of the world. Absolute legend in the Prem at Spurs, obviously in Germany. Didn't do a great job as a coach, though.
No.
There's moments at Bayern Munich, had some kind of weird things. I think he had like a little Buddha in the dugout with him. So some strange fella. But what was your initial thoughts when he arrived?
When he arrived, I was excited. I mean, obviously, Jurgen Klinsmann's coming into the building, and I was like, this is an absolute legend. I'm looking forward to meeting this guy. And when he first came in, I thought, yeah, he seems like a nice guy. I had brief conversations with him, but it was very interesting to say the least, because he did think outside the box, probably a little bit too much at times, where you were like, okay, is this borderline crazy, or is this guy really
genius?
This is great. Yeah. So
when he
but
started
it
talking,
was nice. It was nice for me to meet him, because I mean, any chance you get to meet a legend, you're quite impressed just by their aura, the way that they come into the room. And
and then when they fuck up, it gets even harder, though, right? It's like,
yeah.
Did he instantly provide the club and the room with a lift as soon as he walked in?
He did.
lift.
Yeah. Propeller. Yeah.
When you start hearing him talking about total football, right, and talking about Barca and Ajax and these teams, what were your thoughts, though? Because football people know that not everyone can play that style of football.
Well, no, you need the players in order to play that way, don't you? But I like the idea of, I mean, look, because he wanted to implement an identity, way that we were going to play. And there's probably a reason why Aaron Vinter did come in, because he was playing the Ajax way and the Dutch way, and that total football. But obviously we couldn't play that way, and that's why the team was struggling big time.
What a gig, though, eh? Klinsmann comes in, redefines the club. This is what we're doing. And then leaves. And then
off.
Burns down to the ground.
Yeah. Nothing like our clubs here bringing in foreigners to do shit when you got people here that have done the same thing. Maybe not the same level as Klinsmann as a player, but I mean, Jimmy could probably advise them pretty well on a coach if they asked him.
That's the thing, right? It's not as if these big name foreigners have had such great success in Canadian soccer. If there was, a pathway of success we've seen over and over again, wow, we need another Klinsmann. We need another Winter. Okay, I understand that. But when it's been just more failures and successes, maybe it's a chance to look a little bit closer to home.
I think it's just that Canadian flag that's behind us it's not sexy enough. I think if we were, all of us that are here that played the game, if we had an Argentinian flag or an English flag, I think it would be a completely different story. Probably people would sit down with you and ask for your ideas and have some general good conversations.